It's just breathtaking.
I'm Jimmy Doherty. 15 years ago, I left the rat race behind to build a new life in the English countryside.
It was all about getting back to a simpler way of life.
Now I'm travelling to the farthest corners of the planet.
Look at that!
To meet British families who are taking things to another level.
Oh my God!
By forging new lives in some of the most awe-inspiring places on Earth.
It's so beautiful here, you just can't compare it to anywhere else.
You feel invigorated and good and alive. Come on, Jimmy!
This is the stuff of childhood dreams. It's like being in one of those Tarzan films.
Many of us fantasize about escaping to our very own private paradise.
When we found this place, we just said we've got to make it work.
But does the dream live up to the reality?
To make a life here, you've got to be self-reliant, you've got to be so determined, willing to sacrifice everything. But if you can do that, paradise could be yours.
Like many of us, I've often thought about packing up and going to live somewhere completely different, but I've never actually had the guts to go through with it.
There is definitely this aspect of living a dream, and everyone wants their little slice of paradise. Everyone wants that. And there's a part of me that I would love to just go, right, come on, kids, let's get everyone on the plane and just disappear. But can you make that your life?
I'm travelling to the Indonesian island of Banka, one of a myriad of tiny volcanic islands located off the tip of the Sulawesi province. I'm told the area is a tropical wilderness of pristine white sand and stunning crystal clear waters. It's many people's idea of perfection. But getting there is a challenge.
Hi there, I want to get to, is it Pantan Surabaya?
Yes.
Hop straight in?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
I'm heading off in search of a young British couple who left the UK to live out here and now have an 18-month-old toddler.
How long does this journey take? 1 hour? More? I live an hour's drive from where I sort of grew up. And I think for people to actually move away from the things that they know is quite difficult. Because you leave your family behind, you leave your friends behind, you leave your culture, your identity behind, you know, and that's a tough thing. So to come out here, the pull has to be extremely strong to make the leap. Or there's got to be a bigger push.
After 2 flights totaling 16 hours, I'm now heading north from the remote town of Manado to Pantai Surabaya. From here, the couple, Simon and Sophie, have said they will take me by boat to their island home. But the journey has taken me much longer than I expected.
Is this it? That's me. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Right. There we go, I can hear the waves. So, I did arrange to meet them here. Oh, ow. They're not here.
Hello?
Hello, Sophie.
Hey.
It's me, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy, how are you? How was your journey?
Very, very long. And now I'm here in the dark. Where are you guys?
We were expecting you a few hours ago, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And we don't actually take our boat across to the mainland at night. But if you walk back up the beach and across the road,
Yep.
there's a little family there, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind if you needed somewhere to crash.
Okay.
She's called Salma.
Salma.
And-
Okay, I'll check that out. But you'll be with me first thing in the morning?
Yes, we'll be there about 6:30.
Salma? Excuse me, sir, do you know Salma? Salma?
No, I know speak English. Tidak tahu bahasa Inggris.
Hi, do you know Salma? Guest house? Me to sleep? Yeah, me. With Salma. I'll keep looking. Salma? Yes. Here? This is Salma. Really?
Really?
Are you Selma?
My mum.
Oh. Hi, I'm Jim. Simon and Sophie said I could stay here. Is it okay for me to stay?
Yeah.
Where will I sleep? On the table?
Strong.
Very good.
Inviting as Selma's table looks, I've got a hammock that I was hoping to put up on the island. Tonight, it looks like it's going to come in handy.
I mean, who wouldn't get a good night's sleep here? Just keep banging, boys. That, honestly, I'll just drift straight off. The actual house might come down. This is definitely a long way from Suffolk. So I've had about 3 hours sleep. I feel all right now, but I think I'll feel it later. Wow, isn't that beautiful? All those lovely fishing boats. This is black sand, which is incredible, but it does show you that, you know, there's active volcanoes around here. This is quite a dangerous place to be, because when you get volcanoes and plate movements, you get tsunamis. Whoa. Wow. This looks like them. Is that you, Sophie? There's a little one. It's good to see smiley faces, look.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's nothing better than a morning drive. The commute's terrible.
How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, Simon. Wow. Wow, and who's this?
This is Max.
Hello, Max. Hi, I'm
Nice to
Jim.
meet you.
A bit sweaty.
He's not sure about beards.
29-year-old Brits, Simon and Sophie, moved to Indonesia 4 years ago. They've set up home on a sparsely populated tropical island with their 1-year-old son, Max.
Well, we've got another one on the way.
Wow.
And this is a girl.
Is it?
Yeah.
How long have you got?
3 more months.
3 more months.
Yeah. So it's going to be complete chaos.
We better get you back to the island then.
Yeah, let's go.
But before we set off, I'm in for a treat.
Ada apa di dalam perahu? Ula.
Ula?
Ula means snake.
It's got a snake.
It's a big one.
Can we have a look?
Yeah, go and have it. I think Max and I might stay here. But you guys...
I'll come with you.
Thanks.
Mind your head.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Wow. There's a sack full of snake.
Oh, you can see it breathing.
The snake is a reticulated python, one of the longest snakes in the world.
Oh, it's got lumps in it, it's moving.
It was caught in a pig enclosure on the island and is now being transported to a nearby nature reserve.
That is amazing.
So how big is it? How big's this snake?
And that 6 meters long.
6 metre long. So do you find snakes like that where you live?
Yeah, we do, but only little ones, relatively. I mean, this one's massive. We normally get up to like 2 meters in the jungle, but that's incredible.
Wow. Been here 5 minutes, just seen a giant snake. Let's get to the island. Bye.
A 30-minute boat ride from the mainland, the island Simon and Sophie live on is totally off-grid.
Hello, Max.
It has no roads, no shops and no hospitals. Where we're headed is truly cut off from the world.
Look at that. This is just beautiful.
It is just stunning, isn't it? That's why we fell in love with it.
Where are you?
See the beach?
Straight ahead.
Yeah.
What a place to live, eh? So this is your little slice of jungle paradise.
Exactly.
Wow. Woohoo!
Not too cold?
That is beautiful.
I've travelled halfway round the world to spend time with British couple Simon and Sophie and their home on an Indonesian tropical island.
You walk up onto your own beach,
Yeah.
greeted by your dogs. This can't be real, can it? The view is rubbish. Wow.
Originally attracted to the area by its diving-friendly waters, they had been travelling for 2 months when they took the dramatic decision to buy a beach in a place without roads, shops, hospitals, phone lines, or any of the modern conveniences we take for granted at home.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
I'm very interested in what drives you to set up a brand new life in the middle of nowhere, especially with a young child and another one on its way.
When we came here and we found this place, we just said we've got to make it work.
And then we bought a beach and built this place, and it was all a big adventure for us.
Where do you go to buy a beach? It's not like a beach shop. It's not like they're advertising, oh, there's a lovely bit of beach down the road.
We actually found it online.
Did you?
Yeah, we found some land for sale in Indonesia.
What, beach.co.uk?
Kind of.
So what's the equivalent, say, to buying a beach? What would it be like in the UK? Is it like a top-of-the-range sports car? Is it a semi-detached house? What is it?
A high-end family saloon, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Simon and Sophie came here with dreams of starting a new life, free from what they saw as the restrictions of modern Britain.
We were working in Café Rouge in Weybridge. It's shift work, so you can be up at all hours, and you're ultimately working for somebody else the whole time, day in, day out. Yeah, you can see the cycle starting and going, hang on, this is never going to end after this. We're going to do our degree, then we have to start careers, because then we're going to have a house. And you kind of just look down that path and go, oh, I don't know, maybe we should look at other options.
We were firstly attracted to the diving. I've dived since I was 12, and I'd always heard of North Sulawesi and dreamed about it. And we finally found this tiny remote beach on Banka. Thought it'd be a great place to have a home and live here.
Simon and Sophie bought themselves a beach and 11 acres of untamed land 4 years ago. Despite having no building experience, they've created a kitchen dining area, a toilet block, a large family area, and several smaller huts, which they use as part of a fledgling diving business. All of it is powered by a small diesel generator, installed and tirelessly maintained by Simon, who studied engineering at college in the UK.
So you put up all the lamp system yourself?
Yeah, all the electrical system and the plumbing system as well. So our first well was this one, which we dug by hand.
You dug this by hand?
Yeah, and it was probably the scariest of all the projects because it's clay soil, so it was just caving in the whole time. It's quite soft to dig through, but we had to shutter it back to keep it from caving in.
God.
And it worked really well for a while, but in a really, really dry season, it actually dries out. So we managed to find, through friends and contacts, somebody who has a drilling rig, and they came out, drilled us a borehole.
The family's borehole supplies water for washing and cooking, but clean drinking water is much harder to come by on the island. Once a week, a small boat delivers them vital supplies. They live in a small one-bedroom hut with just enough room for 3 of them. But with a new baby on the way, Simon is working on an extension.
Who designed the house, then?
Can you guess?
Simon?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
You're creating your own little world here.
It's like having a blank canvas because there aren't the same kind of regulations for building, so you can pretty much do what you want. It's probably the worst thing about building purely out of wood is that termites love it and turn it to sawdust in a matter of months. They're everywhere.
That's what's quite nice about it, though, that if we ever leave, we're not leaving a load of cement buildings in the jungle, and it will just eventually reclaim it and it'll be jungle again.
I suppose that's one of the things you've got to accept, haven't you? You can't become masters of this place, can you? You can learn to live with it, but you can't start to dictate.
It's kind of a human thing, isn't it? You want everything to be permanent, you want things to last forever. This is a really good example of how things just don't, and you can try as you might, it's never going to be like that.
It is like something out of a kid's storybook. The Swiss Family Robinson, you know, blonde-haired little boy running around, 3 dogs, their little house they're building. They are building their own little world. And if they want to have water pumps over here, if they want to build a new house there, they can do that. And if someone to say what would be a tropical paradise, well, where they live is that tropical paradise.
Out here, Simon and Sophie have learnt to live side by side with nature at its most raw. And it isn't long before I see an example of the island's exotic wildlife firsthand.
There it is.
Like that cardboard box.
There it goes. Look, 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 look. That's huge, isn't it?
That was a big one, yeah.
Behind the kitchen, monitor lizards skulk around searching for leftovers.
So that just comes and eats all your rubbish?
Yeah.
Look, stay still. There's one there. Ah.
It's like a dinosaur, isn't it?
It's exactly like a dinosaur. And they're not that scared, are they, really?
And they also killed our chickens, which was a bit naughty.
What, killed your chickens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just found piles of feathers on the beach.
What about Max? Did you ever worry about him toddling around?
If I was to leave him on his own, I'd worry.
Yeah.
He'll be wrestling them.
God, yeah. It'd be a bit like Tarzan, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Were you scared?
No, not at all. I was only standing behind you so you could get a better view.
Sure, sure.
I'm eager to see more of the island, but I'm exhausted from 3 days of travel. And now I just need to get some sleep.
Your castle, sir.
Look at this. This is proper. Do you keep the windows open? So that's python-proof, is it?
Yeah, that's verified python-proof. Yeah, European standards.
Lovely job. And if anything does attack me, at least I can just walk clean through the wall, can't I? Because it's only bamboo.
We can jump over the top.
Yeah. Lovely job. I will see you in about a week.
Yeah, all right. Sleep well.
See you later.
Simon and Sophie's only physical link to the outside world is their small aging boat, bought from a local villager. Ensuring it's reliable and seaworthy is essential. Today I'm heading out to assist Simon with some vital maintenance work.
Our boat is our lifeline. Food supplies, fuel supplies, getting to hospital to have a baby. That is important to keep it really well maintained. I think there's dolphins in front of the boat.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, look. Look at that. Look at that. There they go, there they go.
Oh, there they are.
Wow. You see, experiences like this, people go on exotic holidays, save up for a lifetime, but you've got it just at the end of your garden. Look, there they are. Where?
Simon and Sophie have asked me to help them patch up the underside of their boat. In other words, clean it. Algae and marine life cling to the bottom. If it's not cleaned off, it will eventually eat into the wood, destroying the hull and eliminating the couple's only means of reaching the mainland. After half an hour scrubbing, there is just enough air in my tank to explore the ocean. The island Sophie and Simon live on is in a unique area known as the Coral Triangle, which contains some of the richest, most diverse marine life on Earth.
There isn't anybody who dives that hasn't heard of North Sulawesi and wants to come here. It's the most awesome diving in the world. It feels like you're at the end of the earth.
Very nice. Okay.
That is incredible. What a different world. That was one of the best things I've done in ages, because I always used to love tropical fish. In fact, I must have been at the age of 9, and I went round our village and we used to wash cars, and with the money I saved, I bought myself an aquarium. I didn't bother watching TV. I used to watch all my guppies swimming around and put all the plants in the right place. So that takes me back to that sort of excitement. And I can see the draw of this place. But is this sustainable? Have you got to grow up at some point and go back home? You could see this as a bit of a hidey hole. They're Peter Pan and Tinkerbell living in Never Never Land.
It's my second day on the island. I'm relieved to have finally got some decent rest, but not everyone has slept so well.
I think Simon had a rough night last night, I think. It was about 3. His generator went down.
The family's sole source of power is an old diesel-run generator.
I think something's gone bang.
And it's broken.
Simon!
So it's a bit of a two-man job, actually.
Right, let's get going then.
Cool. Could you grab me 14mm socket and we'll get this one on?
It's 14.
Thanks very much. And the ratchet.
Are you one of life's problem solvers?
I think I'm a problem maker in some way. I thrive on disasters to some extent. Just constantly keeping on top of the tide of corrosion and things going wrong. 1, 2, 3. Yes, they'll take it.
God, it's incredibly hot in here, isn't it? I'm sweating buckets.
There we go.
You're obviously a massive tinkerer.
Yeah, if it goes round and round or it's electrical or anything, yeah, I've got to find out how it works.
Well, just as well out here, though, isn't it? Because I mean, if you hadn't had these skills, hadn't learned these skills, then if that goes, you're out with no power. You're screwed, really, aren't you?
Yep. Right, so that's on.
Start her up.
Go on, and a go.
Here we go. Power! Power!
I'm impressed by Simon's mechanical skills, which are vital in order to keep everything up and running. But there are some things that are beyond even his control. Bangka Island is situated on the Ring of Fire, where earthquakes and volcanic eruptions can cause tsunamis. When they receive a warning, the family must flee to higher ground. I've asked Simon to show me their escape route.
We signed up to a tsunami alert system, so we get a text message. We get about 15 or 20 alerts a year.
Do you?
Yeah. The closest we've got is having a bag packed and keeping an eye on the sea.
The 2004 Boxing Day tsunami devastated many parts of coastal Indonesia, killing hundreds of thousands of people. A similar incident here would simply wash away the family's fragile wooden huts.
6.8 was the biggest earthquake, and I was in our house, and it really shook like a train carriage. And the tide was going out, which was quite worrying, because for a tsunami, the sea will go out very quickly. And Simon was actually out diving at the time.
So it was at about 15 meters, and all of a sudden there was just this really low rumbling sound. The really big shock waves hit, and just every airspace, your lungs, felt like I was being kind of hit in the chest. I'm just a guy from Devon, never dreamed of being in the jungle. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, this is the most dangerous, this, that, and the other. It just happens to be in the territory that we've lived in. And we've taken it and we just deal with it.
A lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Which way?
While I can see that Simon has a talent and temperament to survive out here, I want to find out what persuaded a boy from Devon to make such a radical lifestyle choice.
I quite like this environment, but it is tough going. Why on earth are you here? Is it that sort of danger? Is that what you're after?
No, not at all. I had one really bad motorbike accident when I was 21.
Did you?
Which was a near-fatal accident. Someone decided to jump a red light and come in the opposite way at a junction, and I went straight into the side and didn't even have a chance to stop.
Well, so you nearly died on a motorbike?
Yeah, yeah. And the only thing that saved me was my helmet. I just woke up in a hospital on morphine, and my mum was there, and yeah, just, yeah.
Did that change things?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not really the kind of person that, you know, big epiphanies and stuff like that, but thinking about it afterwards, going, if it had been curtains, would I have been happy with what had happened up until then? I don't think so. So started making a few changes, started saying yes to a few more things, started saying yes to relationships, started saying yes to travel. And then when I met Sophie, who brought all of those things to the table, yeah, that was when things really started to change.
I'm starting to understand you a bit more then, the idea of that, because I was sort of questioning why you're here.
Worth it, isn't it?
Look at that.
You can see everything from here. You go in that direction far enough and you hit Australia. You got the Philippines, Papuas over there. One active volcano over there, Yukon, and then these are dormant stratovolcanoes. The volcanic activity that causes the tsunamis is actually from sea volcanoes between here and Halmahera in that direction.
It's silent, isn't it? It's just like your little hidey hole.
Yeah, actually it is.
This island.
It sounds ridiculous, like you come to a tiny island and you think you're already far away enough from everything. But actually, if you want total solitude, you come up here. I mean, look at it.
What I found out today is that there was a catalyst, there was a moment. He had an epiphany, and that's when he nearly died in a motorbike accident. And that point on, he wanted to seize the day. He wanted to take every opportunity. If you really want your slice of paradise, if you really want your dreams, they're not going to just drift along and land on your lap. You've got to go out and make it happen. You know, and I think, you know, I really admire him for that.
I'm in Indonesia, spending time with British couple Simon and Sophie, who moved to this remote island 4 years ago.
Wetsuits. And I'll grab a couple of tanks.
Bye, Daddy.
See you later, sausage.
The miles of coral reef the region has to offer is what brought them here. But it's been under threat from fishing and mining. An estimated 85% of it is endangered by human activity. The couple are passionate about protecting and documenting the reef, and Simon has asked me to join him on a regular inspection of the ocean bed to check for damage.
It feels totally unnatural to just get into water that is black, dark.
We might see a shark.
Okay.
Nighttime is hunting time and sharks do come out at night. They'll probably just be behind us the whole time in the dark and we'll never know they're there.
That's even worse.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Reef sharks are common in these waters, and although Simon insists we're safe, I hope tonight they stay out of our way. The waters seem to be thriving with extraordinary marine life, and diving here is a thrilling experience.
Wow. What are those weird slugs?
Yeah, I can't believe you saw that on your first dive here.
I was anxious about this trip, but it seems to me that in some way diving into the unknown is exactly what Simon and Sophie have done with their lives.
I think a lot of stuff in life is about the initial getting in.
Yeah.
And think about what you guys have done. It's the scary part of the beginning.
In the early days, we were just so terrified that it wasn't going to work, that it was all going to come crashing down at any moment for whatever reason, that we just spent every day waking up and staying really focused to the point where you forget all that fear, you forget about how big it is. We had to make it work. We had to make it work for so many reasons.
The sun rises early on Bangka Island, as do toddlers.
1, 2.
Simon and Sophie moved out here as newlyweds, hoping to forge a new life free from mortgages, career paths, and all the shackles of the modern world.
Max.
After 2 years of living here alone, their lives changed. Sophie fell pregnant, and they made the decision to have Max in Indonesia rather than return home.
We didn't want to go back to the UK for the birth, mainly because it would have been so much time away from here. Max arrived 3 weeks early. I woke up in the middle of the night. It was about 4 a.m., I think, and said to Simon, OK, I think the baby's coming. By about 6 a.m., we were on a boat to the hospital, and then Max was born about 4 p.m.
Not by accident humans have managed to reproduce without the internet for millennia. Like, how have we all done this?
Max is an adventurer. He's finding a hermit crab and bringing it to us.
Digging a hole.
Throwing a coconut around.
He's a little free spirit.
I've got 3 kids of my own, and even surrounded by all the comforts of home, I still find it tough going at times.
Hey, Max.
I want to know what it's really like trying to bring up a toddler out here.
Is this all your stuff, though? Is this it?
This is all our stuff. Yeah, we don't need very much. I mean, I don't know what else we'd have. What do you have in your house?
Just stuff that you collect over time.
You know, we've got a whole beach and a whole jungle to use as our playground.
Is it easier, then, for you to bring up your kids here than back home?
I think it is easier. I think there's none of that judgment and none of those expectations on your shoulders, so it's quite a relief to be free of that and do it our own way. Because as a new mum or dad, you know, you're kind of feeling your way. You have no idea what to do. I'm now really happy that we took the decision to have our babies here. It's just us, and there's not a lot of outside influence or worries.
Has he had any close encounters with any snakes or stuff like that?
A snake did fall on his head 2 weeks ago.
A snake fell on his head?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, we were just playing under one of the palm trees, and it just fell out of the tree. It's just a tree snake. And it just fell down and slithered off. And I was a bit like, Max just carried on playing.
You must have panicked.
Yeah, well, there's nothing you can do.
No.
You learn when you live here that if something happens, you just have to deal with it. Panic just doesn't help. Swim, swim.
Whenever you have a child, it stops you living your life for you. So suddenly life becomes entirely about making sure their life is how you'd want it to be. Is it going to be okay for him? Is it going to be safe? It's like growing another leg, isn't it? You suddenly realise that you can't ever do without that little person in your life, and they're always going to be there.
You blowing bubbles?
My mother-in-law is around my house all the time. For my wife, that's quite important. Do you feel at all a bit torn about being here and leaving your mum and your family?
Being away from family is definitely the most difficult part. My mum was quite used to me going away, but when we had Max, it added another dimension, another person to miss. Gonna go and have dinner now, I think.
See you later, Max. She doesn't miss things at all. But I can see that pulls on the heartstrings a little bit, not having a mum here. I think it's been a learning curve for them, being here away from all the other stresses and strains and being able to learn about responsibility. And now they've got a young family. They're not trapped. They're not caged by any constraints. They can just go off and have adventures. And I think, how do they get that freedom to do that? Why can't I do that? So got a mortgage, kids, business. But I say, yeah, I suppose you could. Straight away you find excuses, don't you, not to do it. Hello, chaps. What have we got there?
A small boat with the weekly shop has arrived from the mainland, carrying clean drinking water and some basic food supplies.
Keep going, the 10 more.
It's like a military operation to get you lot fed.
Definitely miss food and drink. I miss wine, and we really miss cheese.
Did have this idea that you'd have maybe like a little small holding, or there'd be, you know, you'd be going picking fruit and stuff like that.
It's a really, really nice idea. But our lifestyle here is just to have loads of family time and lots of diving time.
I'm surprised that the local farmers here can't provide you with the goods.
We'd probably be limited to fish and rice. You can find some food on the island.
Like what?
You can find things like crab that we like to cook.
So so you do forage for some food as well,
Yes.
then? What about doing a bit of crabbing then?
Let's do that, yeah.
Let's do it.
We could have maybe a bit of a crab curry or something like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Lovely.
The idea of fresh crab is too much to resist, and once Max is safely tucked up in bed, we search for dinner in the nearby mangroves.
So the crabs live over in these rocks over here. And if you can see one peering out of you, we'll see if we
Look
can grab
at that, what is that?
But my attention is quickly drawn to some other wildlife.
Is that a python, isn't it?
Possibly.
Try to get hold of it.
Ooh.
Ah.
Beautiful little python. Woohoo!
She's alive.
There he goes. Look, it's off.
Bye-bye.
Back in the water. There's another one down here. How amazing. As a kid, I would have absolutely loved this.
Yeah.
So your son is going to be pulling snakes out of the sea and having the time of his life.
I spent years keeping snakes as a kid, and seeing them in their natural habitat is incredible.
So do you pick snakes up?
No, I'm not crazy.
But it also means I'm acutely aware of the danger they can pose.
Walking in the mangroves and seeing baby reticulated pythons is something quite unique. Yeah, the world's largest snake, the longest snake. And here they are, in bucket loads. Look, there's one there. They're probably a year, 2 years old. So, I mean, they get up to, what, 20-odd feet. If the babies are out here,
Yeah.
then I reckon you've probably got a big, fat old female sitting around here that would easily swallow a pig. Have you got any holes in your house? Have you got any... Can it push underneath? Can it get into the roof? Can it...
Yeah, it could get into the roof,
Yeah.
so thatch.
So it could easily swallow a child, and they have done.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just super predators, aren't they?
Jimmy, I don't think we need to over-dramatise it too much. I really don't think a snake's
Really?
going to eat Max in his sleep. Spiders could get him and bite him, or a shark could come up and bite his leg off, or...
Tsunami can come
a
at any moment.
tsunami could happen, or an earthquake. We've lived here for a long time, and it's fine.
I got excited and I probably scared her a little bit, talking about the dangers of snakes, and hate to think that I've created a worry in her head that she just doesn't need to worry about. I don't want to upset them.
Sophie and Simon asked to call it a night, and we abandoned the crab hunt. It's a reminder that being a parent, even in paradise, is an emotive issue, and it's made me question their future here. It's my last day on Bangka Island in Indonesia. Despite last night's events, Simon and Sophie want to show me more of their island life. We're heading to the nearest village an hour away in search of some fresh meat, leaving Max with a local villager who sometimes helps look after him.
So this is Lahuni village. And for us, it's a real treat to come and find a pig and go back and cook it on the beach.
Fantastic.
The crackling is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is this one of your luxuries that sort of reminds you of home? Because, you know...
Definitely. It's like our version of a roast dinner.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
This could be great. Look, there's pigs here as well.
Yeah,
Looks
everywhere.
like loads of people got a few chickens in the garden, a few pigs.
Yeah. Babby, do you see any? So it's here.
This is it?
Yeah, I think they're calling the pig. It's run away.
So this is your butcher's shop, then?
I guess so, yeah.
This is the free-range farm.
She's saying, call the pig, it's coming back.
Is it normal that pigs know their name?
Yeah, they're very clever pigs.
But they'd actually recognise
Yeah,
it?
they will, yeah. Here he comes.
That's the one.
The manner of the killing is very different to what I'm used to back home.
In the UK, you'd stun the pig first, and then you'd kill it.
This is what happens, and this is how you get your food in this environment.
It's becoming increasingly obvious to me that living out here involves moral compromises I'm not sure everyone would be willing to make.
So you see yourself as people that have come to live here, you're immigrants?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's important for us to be accepted by the community and join in with their belief system and their culture.
You're part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And we can't come in here and say, you're doing it wrong, you need to have the pig in this condition, you need to use this kind of equipment. We can't force our views on other people.
We're going to be wading in mud now.
Muddy, wady bit.
Well, these rocks are really slippery.
Yeah. Don't drop our precious pig.
Again, so I thought you were worried about me tripping.
Whoa, stop.
You're right. Drop it if you have to.
No, that's right. Nearly there.
Woo.
Oh, there we go. He's home.
Well done, guys.
That is a culture clash, but what's really important about these guys is they want to be included in the culture here. You know, they are the immigrants coming in. And here, there are different rules. And if you want to play the game here, you abide by those rules. But that pig better taste good, because that is a lot of work. A lot of work.
OK, slit it open and then take the guts out.
Typically, the couple refuse to hide from the realities of life in the wilderness.
A lot of people, this would shock them, wouldn't it?
I think you can't have it both ways, can you? You can't just eat a bit of meat and just distance yourself from it.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying as well to say, I helped prepare this pig. I think it's a good, healthy thing to do. What do you think, Max?
It's just seeing where his dinner's coming from.
Yeah, definitely. I hope Max gets involved with it. Right, I think we can start pulling them out. Do you want to lend a hand?
I think you've got so much qualification experience between the two of you.
Oh, yes. Good team effort.
Although my stay hasn't all been plain sailing, I can see what Max gets from living alongside nature every day. I want to clear the air with Simon and Sophie before I leave.
I have to sort of say sorry about the snakes.
That's OK.
I just didn't want you to be angry with me, as long as I get my crackling.
I'll give you a bit of crackling.
I can see the stresses and the worries of tsunami and all that kind of stuff, but you have to weigh those with the benefits you get.
It did start off as a bit of an adventure, and then we managed to settle here, which was a big win for us. And I'm really glad we made that decision.
Yeah.
We've definitely grown while we were here. We've both grown up, haven't we?
Yeah.
What are the future plans for you guys then? When Max is old enough for school, you'll be going?
If we left as is, Max could grow up here, he'd have all this freedom, but at the same time, equipping him with good education is really something that we feel we need to provide him with.
It will be very difficult if we decide to leave. But there's so much more world to see.
So it's not about going home then? You could do this again somewhere else?
Yeah. Cheers.
Come back anytime.
And here's to the new one.
Thank you.
Oh.
This looks crispy.
Wow. That's me sorted. That is worth all that effort.
The meat is actually really tender.
Fat's done its job, you see. So luscious.
My time on Bangka Island has come to an end, and I have to say goodbye to my hosts.
I think these guys have had the opportunity to move away before they've had too much responsibility. But now, I think they've grown up. They've become adults. And they've found themselves with this responsibility, which is Max, and also now a little girl on the way. So you're never going to get away from certain pressures in life. You know, parenting is one of those. But that's not a cultural thing. I think that the pressures are the same wherever you go. But I think through stripping their life down to some basics, they've achieved happiness. I think they understand what makes them happy. OK, guys, I'm all packed. This is me.
I'm ready to go back to civilization.
All ready. Bye-bye, little man. Bye-bye. Oh, yes. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. It's been a real pleasure, mate.
Amazing. Thank you for all your time.
Yeah, it's so pleasure.
And putting up with me. And thank you so much. I know how stressful it can be.
It's been a pleasure.
Lucky. Yeah, I'm going. Get in the boat. Take care. Thanks so much.
All right, Jimmy.
And look after yourself.
Say hi to the real world for us.
Will do. When you've got kids at home, you suddenly realise spending as much time with them as possible is of such importance. So the real treasure they've got here is the time with their family. Thank you, my friend. Say goodbye to paradise. Just breathtaking.
I'm Jimmy Doherty. 15 years ago, I left the rat race behind to build a new life in the English countryside.
It was all about getting back to a simpler way of life.
Now I'm traveling to the farthest corners of the planet
Look at that.
To meet British families who are taking things to another level
Oh my God.
by forging new lives in some of the most awe-inspiring places on Earth.
It's so beautiful here, you just can't compare it to anywhere else.
You feel invigorated and good and alive. Come on, Jimmy!
This is the stuff of childhood dreams. It's like being in one of those Tarzan films.
Many of us fantasize about escaping to our very own private paradise.
When we found this place, we just said we've got to make it work.
But does the dream live up to the reality?
To make a life here, you've got to be self-reliant, you've got to be so determined, willing to sacrifice everything. But if you can do that, paradise could be yours. Going to live in the wilderness, going to live in paradise, there's something very attractive about that. I think a lot of people like the idea of it, but when you boil it down, there's not many people that are prepared to make such a big commitment.
I'm traveling 4,000 miles on a journey which will take me deep into the heart of Africa. I'm going to live with an intrepid young couple who have set up home on the banks of one of the greatest rivers on Earth, the Nile. I want to find out why they chose to move to the wilds of Uganda. But first, I need to navigate my way out of the chaos of the capital, Kampala.
People everywhere. Bus station, right. It's just like a massive car park. It's like where buses go to die. I can't even count the buses. There are so many buses. All I can see is just the signs, taxi, 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 taxi.
There are literally hundreds of these taxi buses heading all across Uganda, and I've no idea which one I need.
That way? Thank you. Well, I'm here. I need to get to Kangalumira.
To Kangalumira?
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm the one taking you. Kangalumira Jinja, Kangalumira, Mama, Mama. Kangalumira Jinja, Kangalumira Jinja.
So you arrive in a place like this, so many different colours, so many different scents and different stimuli. It's pretty hardcore, I've got to say.
I want to know what motivated an ordinary British couple to set up home out here.
And on top of it all, they've got a 3-month-old baby. To me, that seems nuts.
Infant mortality in Uganda is 10 times higher than in the UK, so moving here is not a decision to be taken lightly.
Yeah, right.
My destination is a grueling day's travel east to the shores of Lake Victoria. From there, I'll need to work my way inland to the remote town of Kangalumira, before crossing by boat to the family's home on the eastern edge of the Nile.
Obviously, we're out on the banks of the Nile, so it should be pretty rich in wildlife. Some of the stuff I'd love to see. Some of the stuff I'd like to see from a distance. What about this? Any crocodiles?
Yeah, crocodiles.
Do people get eaten by these?
Yeah.
Python?
A python.
They get big?
It's very big and dangerous.
Is it?
Yeah.
The wildlife here couldn't feel more different to what I'm used to in the UK.
Right, looks like we're stopping. Time to get off.
The bus leaves me thousands of miles from home, and I've still got hours more to travel. From here, I'll be heading out into bush country.
It does look lush, it does look absolutely beautiful. Walk out your door and there's pineapples growing there, there's bananas. I don't know, is this paradise? I suppose in some ways it is.
I've been traveling now for nearly 48 hours, but to reach the family's home, I've got one last obstacle to cross.
My good God, that is properly epic. How are you doing?
The Nile is the longest river in the world, and it's genuinely awe-inspiring.
This is the stuff of childhood dreams. It's like being in one of those Tarzan films. Are there any sort of crocs?
There was a crocodile that lived in the river, and some white people who lived just you know, where we just come from.
Yeah.
Used to feed it and kind of, you know, be kind to it until it killed 2 people.
Killed 2 people?
2 people, and then they decided it was too dangerous.
On the surface, it looks beautiful, but it's like when you swim in the sea. Always, you've got the theme tune of Jaws playing.
Okay, man.
Thank you. Shall I give you a push off?
Bye, thank you very much.
I'll be honest with you. Setting out thinking as a couple that decided to leave the UK with a small child to live on the banks of the Nile, they seem crackers. But going through this journey, totally got my respect.
I'd wanted to reach the family's home before nightfall.
The place is alive.
But I find myself walking through the undergrowth in near darkness.
Right, it's properly dark now, but I can see some lights.
Hey, Jimmy.
You must be Charlie.
Pleased to meet you.
How good to see you. Wow, I'm so pleased to see you. I'm totally lost. Oh, what a nice
Here's a land for you.
Look at that. I feel like Wee Willie Winky. We'll lead on. Look at this.
Our visitors arrived.
Also waiting for me is Charlie's partner, Jenny, with their 3-month-old baby, Rory.
Wow, how are you? Good to see you.
You too.
And this little one?
This is Rory.
Rory. Hello. Is he just going off to sleep?
He was asleep.
I can't tell you how pleased I am to finally be here.
Jenny and Charlie were working as researchers at the University of Aberdeen when they decided to abandon the rat race and start a new life here.
What are you doing here? What are you running away from?
Or running to. It's about finding a place we could call home. It's our place that we both love equally. There's something in my heart that feels so good when we're out in the fresh air and you feel invigorated.
Is this all local produce?
Yeah, it's our own maize and actually our own chili sauce on there as well.
So your own
take
maize,
a bite.
own chili sauce. I might take that one if that's all right. Are you having one as well?
Watch the chilies, they're a bit fiery.
So what else do you grow then?
Lots of beans.
Chickens,
Lovely.
cow, 2 pigs.
Well, 2 pigs.
Yeah, we can get you to come and look at our pigs.
We love it. I can't wait for tomorrow when I can see it in the light.
The food tastes delicious, but after a 2-day journey to get here, I am totally shattered.
So, where am I sleeping?
Up in a tent.
In the back.
Somewhere out here is a 2-man tent. My home for the next week.
So here you go. Here's your palace.
Snakes?
No, should be fine. Spiders should be okay.
Yeah.
What you got to watch out for are the ants. But
Ants?
yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay.
At the moment. Sleep well.
And they've told me there's nothing to be worried about in terms of animals, but I know they're out there. I can hear them wandering around. But I haven't got my bearings. If I wander, I could just end up, God knows where. Could end up with leopard's dinner. That's quite an interesting night. Didn't get a lot of sleep. There's And there's a lot of safari ants crawling around.
This will be my home for the next week. And I can't wait to take a proper look around.
Ah, you... Ah! Ah! Look at that. Up, up! Up! Running through the vegetation are columns of army ants. Look, my feet. Up! Look at it.
Good morning.
Just been attacked by safari ants.
Yes.
Doesn't happen at home.
Well, I was in the loo last night and they got me, so at least you didn't have your shorts down.
So what? So what were they doing? They're just en masse.
They're marching. They're on the hunt for food, and they kind of move as an army. They've got side soldiers, and yeah, they're quite impressive. If you wake up in the night and you're feeling a few bites, it's best to have a check with the torch.
I'm already seeing the downside of paradise.
Jenny and Charlie are clearly not afraid of a challenge, and they certainly don't lack ambition. Their dream is to turn their 3-acre plot of land into a fully working farm.
So this is our farm area through here.
They're cultivating maize, sweet potatoes, and raising livestock in a bid to become self-sufficient.
We've got guava, mulberry, and then over here we've got our pigs. These are our chickens.
Yeah, look, lovely chooks.
2 years ago, the couple packed in their office jobs to buy this plot of land with their life savings.
When I've worked in the UK, it was a 40-minute drive to work. Doing that day in, day out, it was killer.
The only property we could maybe even vaguely afford would be a tiny one-bedroom flat that we wouldn't be able to fit in with a baby.
The couple's work as environmental researchers had brought them to Uganda, and they fell in love with the idea of building a new life here.
I'm very kind of impulsive and, yeah, that's great, let's go do this, or I've got this wonderful idea, I'm going to do it. And Charlie says, whoa, hold on, have you thought about this?
For over a year, they lived in a tiny tent, clearing the bush around them, turning it into somewhere fit for a family.
It can be tough, like when it rains and the rain comes in your tent, or there's mosquitoes in the evening sometimes, but those things, I don't know, they don't bother us so much. Uganda's a beautiful country. It's very lush and green. People are so friendly. It's not that kind of war-torn place that you see on the TV in the UK.
With little to no practical experience and through sheer determination, they're building their own personal patch of paradise. They've erected 2 storehouses for food and equipment, a dining area, a lean-to kitchen, and a tent house for the family to live in.
Beautiful, isn't it? It feels like one of those boutique-y spa places you go to. So it's that you live quite well out here then.
But it's very simple, you know, a simple bed, but a nice big bed so that we can fit the 3 of us.
So everything focuses there, doesn't it?
On the river.
So you wake up in the morning, the first thing you see...
Yeah, first thing we see, first thing we hear is the river.
So tell me, what's it like after a hard day's work, sitting here on this decking that you've built, looking at that?
Feels really peaceful. Feels really natural. Beautiful place, and you kind of just bathe in the glory of it. I mean, it's great.
Walking around here, it's amazing. You know, if I was their age and having all this, I think I'd just totally made it in life.
The family live without any electricity or running water. Here, life is stripped back to its bare essentials.
We collect rainwater off the roof, and that comes here, and we use that for putting in our water filter for drinking.
So you wash up in river water and you drink and bath the baby in the rainwater?
Yeah.
Waterborne diseases are a real threat here, so Jenny and Charlie have come up with an ingenious way of sourcing fresh drinking water.
So we take the rainwater and put that into this clay liner, and it filters through that very slowly.
But that's a plant pot, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You called it a clay filter. That is a plant pot.
After 2 years living a pared-back existence, the couple have few regrets about leaving the UK behind.
Well, it's all about the river, really. We love kayaking, and so if the river wasn't here, we wouldn't be here.
The couple didn't choose this spot by accident. Their farm is close to some of the most formidable whitewater rapids in the world. And they've offered to let me experience them firsthand.
Like that?
Perfect.
I always feel that, you know, when people move away to do something, they're moving to something, to achieve something, but often they're moving away from the opposite of that.
You know, there's the expectation of, oh, okay, put down a deposit on a flat and, oh, okay, get married and start a family, and there's a certain element of wanting to kind of rebel as well.
What's wrong with security?
It's too boring.
Life here could certainly never be described as boring. We've driven to a spot of the river where the rapids look utterly terrifying.
They're massive. So we're really going down there?
Yeah, what do you think?
That has actually generally made me feel sick. It looks like the devil's tumble dryer.
If I get injured, I know it's several hours to the nearest hospital.
I like being in control of things. I like things that are fairly ordered, knowing knowing where things are going to be. This is not. This is all chaos. Let me know, Charlie. You can tell me what to do.
Yeah, keep paddling.
Wow. Full steam ahead?
Full steam ahead.
Oh, my God.
Paddle!
The force of the water is something I've never experienced before, and I feel completely out of control. Eventually, I claw my way back into the kayak. I might nearly have drowned, but it definitely got my adrenaline pumping.
It does give you a feeling of being alive, and now I feel like I could do it 1,000 times over. I feel like I could start 50 farms right now. Wow! I was quite glad to get to the side and get out, but I can see why they love it. I can see why they love this river, and they love the power of the river, and they've got a lot of respect for it.
High on the rush of my first attempt, I'm determined to give the rapids another go.
Here we go.
We did it, Charlie boy! Woohoo! Oh my word!
Oh, it was just all life and death all at once. I look at this and I think, well, this is a slice of paradise. Is it my slice of paradise? I'm not sure. What I can see is there is a lot of dangers here. It is much more of an aggressive natural environment. I want to find out, because paradise comes at a cost.
It's my third day on Jenny and Charlie's off-grid farm, and I'm keen to know more about the challenges of living out here.
One big one.
There we go, so there's one.
The wiener.
That's not going to feed many, is it? Look at that. What do the locals think of you?
A lot of them think we're mad. I mean...
Really?
They
Why is that? These weirdos that turn up, started farming, and they spend a lot of the time in tiny little boats in the rapids and the river with the crocodile.
They think we live in the bush.
Do they?
They think this is the wild. The village just up the road, that's where a lot of them sort of have their houses.
So you're the lunatic living in the bush?
Yeah.
Digging yams in the rain.
Despite their lack of farming experience, the couple are determined to make their small holding a going concern.
Have you ever done it where you think, actually, in theory, it sounded amazing, and when you actually done it in practice, you've gone, oh my God, I'm a bit out of my depth?
Most things.
The couple have decided to establish a beehive to harvest honey, which they hope to trade with the locals.
So I met a local guy who's got a wild swarm. We've got an expert with us who's going to help us capture the swarm and take it home.
So you're talking about wild African bees?
Yeah.
Wild African bees are notoriously aggressive. People have died from multiple stings, so full protective suits are essential.
Over here?
Yes.
Whereabouts are they coming from?
They are coming from here.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
To gather the swarm, first we have to smoke them out from inside the tree trunk.
So start smoking now?
Yes.
Watch out, Charlie boy. I think the idea is that they're going to take the queen, and then, hopefully, the rest of the hive will follow. They'll re-establish all these bees back at Charlie and Jenny's. But do they really want all these bees back at theirs? Seems a bit mad going through an angry African beehive with a chainsaw. Well, those bees are properly angry. Look at them.
The queen have escaped from his palace up the tree there.
The queen has settled on a branch, but the rest of the bees are furious.
Stay still, stand still.
And an angry swarm can be lethal.
I've got one in my suit. I've got bees in my suit, guys.
I'm 3 days into my stay with Charlie and Jenny in Uganda. Their determination to become self-sufficient has unwittingly landed me in the middle of a swarm of angry African bees. I managed to get all the insects out of my protective suit.
Charlie, do you reckon it was going to be this complicated and it's taken this long?
I think it's a bit more involved.
Yeah. More than you expected?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't do it again.
Do you still want to keep bees?
Yeah, this is the hardest part, isn't it?
Finally, the bees calmed down sufficiently to take back to the couple's farm.
Once.
One shake?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Leave it now. Leave it.
They're trying to set up the perfect little life, but I can see one or two things that I'm thinking, that's not going to work. That's not quite right. So their enthusiasm, their ambition's there. I'm not quite sure if the knowledge is.
I appreciate what Charlie and Jenny are trying to achieve, but these ants...
Look at them, en masse. I wonder why I was getting a lot of bites, and we've had a couple of attacks of army ants, but look at that. So I've been sleeping on this. Look at them. Army ants everywhere. And if you don't move your tent on a regular basis, you get bitten to shreds.
I'm not sure I'd be able to cope with living like this day in, day out. But it's precisely this sort of stripped-back lifestyle that Jenny and Charlie have fallen in love with.
I think a lot of people get quite sucked in trying to stay afloat financially and juggling all family and stuff like that, whereas maybe we're a bit more liberated because we're not very financially motivated.
We're not paying rent because it's our own place. We don't have any electricity bills because we don't have electricity. We don't have any water bills.
It's bliss.
If I asked myself, could I have done this when I was 30? I was 27 when I set my farm up. And I think I did that because you got that youthful energy. I think these guys have got that. But I need to really understand how they're going to make this into a future.
Jenny and Charlie are fighting a daily battle against nature. The sheer power of the Nile constantly alters the landscape. To prevent their family farm from being washed away, they need to future-proof it.
This is a proper dugout canoe.
Yeah.
Any leaks?
Yeah, quite a few.
Today, Jenny's asked for my help to gather papyrus, a thick plant which can help prevent the riverbank from crumbling.
The current is quite strong, so we need to be up and across.
Getting to the plants means crossing one of the most dangerous points of the river. A couple of years ago, 2 locals lost control of their boat here and died in the rapids just downstream.
We've got to keep paddling for this current. Got the rapids downriver, so keep going.
It's strong, isn't it?
It is a strong current.
So we're fighting against time, because if we make it across, are we heading down those rapids?
Yeah, but I'm jumping ship if we go anywhere near them. Come on, Jimmy!
I've got a small paddle.
That's it. Right, line up with the papyrus.
Now the real work starts, isn't it?
Yeah. The main thing is to look out for snakes, so you can get cobras, all sorts in here. They actually like to hang out on the top of the papyrus where they sunbathe to get warm. Jimmy, you looking out for snakes?
Oh, don't you worry about that. You're a pretty dabbed hand with a chopper, aren't you? When you look at Jenny, you think, you know, it's all cutesy, Mary Poppins. But in fact, it's Mike Tyson in there. What same person would do that? Paddled in front of some massive rapids with a machete in a leaky boat to get some reeds. Where shall I cut?
So it's kind of free around here into the side.
Just round the back?
Yeah, watch out. These are what we're keeping, so don't break them.
It's tough, isn't it?
It is
It's tough because you can't actually see what you're cutting.
Yeah. There you go. Try and pull it up with as much of the roots as possible.
OK.
And then we can stow it in the front of the boat. Woohoo!
That was not an easy job. Just getting here is a mission. And then hacking that out, good Lord.
Back at the farm, Jenny replants the papyrus in the hope that it'll keep the Nile at bay. But the river is not the only challenge she and Charlie face.
Yeah.
Hear the rain?
Hey, Roo.
God, that is incredible. So, how long does the rainy season last for?
It'll last for a month or 2, and then it'll dry up again.
Is your house zipped up? Oh, my tent isn't. So I zip my tent up?
Yes.
It's funny, because it does remind me of when I first started the farm. I lived in a tent, and I used to get well water and have a fire and cook by. It's always really exciting when you start something. They're young, they're in love, they've got a young family, they're going on this journey together. And, you know, they're cutting a future out of the wild. To do it with a child, I mean, that is tough.
When the couple planned their escape, there was no baby on the horizon.
Look, Roo. Look at the eggs.
They flew back to the UK to have Rory. He was just 2 months old when they brought him back out here. At the time, the couple questioned whether they'd made the right decision.
There was one low when we started the big build, and we've got a new baby, and are we ready to do this? Is everything ready? What are we doing? We're going off to live in a tent with a tiny baby to go and build our house. I don't know. It's fine. I mean, there's ladies that live in villages and give birth to babies under trees all the time. You know, they live in mud huts and things, so why is it a problem for us to live here with a baby?
Charlie and Jenny believe Rory will have a much better quality of life here, surrounded by nature. But they need to be constantly on their guard.
Yesterday I found a tick on his ear, which is not great. It's the second time I found a tick on him. Can also get things like amoebic dysentery. At such a young age, it wouldn't be great for him to get malaria, so it's really more about prevention rather than cure. If he starts to get feverish at all, we can catch that early and then take him to a hospital.
In an emergency, the nearest major hospital is 2.5 hours drive away. Charlie and Jenny believe that the benefits of living here make it a risk worth taking. But still, some nagging doubts remain.
There's a few moments where we look at each other and think, like, what are we doing here? Or when Rue's kind of crying and we're not sure why, and it's kind of, is he ill? Is he something's wrong? Is this a serious mistake, bringing him here? Are we ready for this? Can we do this with a baby?
They have got a lot of knowledge, but if I think of what are the big risks, river blindness, schistosomiasis, there's lots of parasites here, there's venomous snakes. I could go for a leak in that bush and come back with a cobra bite. Who knows? When I set up my farm up, there was trials and tribulations, and mine were sort of worries of financial issues, but never did I ever think, something went wrong. I could go to the police station, or there's a major hospital 5 minutes away. These guys, no chance of that. There's this huge amount of enthusiasm and drive and love for what they do. I don't think I could do it.
Despite its challenges, there are elements of this lifestyle I could really get used to.
You're standing here, starkers, everything hanging out. Well, look, straight through there is the coastline. There is the Nile. It's something amazing about showering in the wilderness. Because this is Africa, this is Uganda. That's the Nile that you hear about with hippos and crocs and explorers.
Charlie and Jenny's long-term vision is to stay in Uganda and bring up a family here. But I want to know how they plan to make it work financially.
So this is Ziggy the piggy.
Yeah, Ziggy the piggy, you named them then.
Ziggy the piggy and Rose.
Great. Hello, guys. So you're gonna breed pigs here, and then it's all about selling.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna eat the meat.
No, I can't eat Ziggy the piggy.
You certainly can eat Ziggy the piggy. And her mate. See, for me, farming-wise, that's all a bit airy-fairy. Yeah, breeding for selling on, but I think you should be eating them.
Right, so we need to put these doors on the goat house.
Yeah, if you've just got a bit of wire, that'll hold it. I'll do that side. If you hold it...
Are you gonna put the hinge there?
Yeah.
I know from bitter experience that you can't make money from livestock unless you buy the right animals. This afternoon, they're taking me goat shopping.
Have you negotiated for livestock before?
Not for goats. With the chickens, bought the chickens. Fairly new to it all.
I've got to ask you, when you go to buy livestock, do you ever feel that the locals are seeing you coming?
Maybe, but there's a lot of negotiation that goes on.
I'm keen to see Charlie and Jenny's negotiating skills firsthand. With limited funds, they can't afford to make the wrong choice.
So what are the goats for? Is it milk? Is it meat goats?
Hopefully we can breed and sell them.
Sell them to the locals?
Sell them locally or at the big town about an hour away. Might get a better price for them there.
And how many goats do you want to produce a year?
I don't know. How many goats can you produce a year?
We've come to the outskirts of a local village where Jenny hopes to buy some decent breeding stock.
They're over here in their hut. Oh, look, the little babies. There's a female up there, is it? Which one of these is the female? Hello?
How old?
Years. 3 months.
3 months old. They look quite messy at the back end, and they're very skinny. You can see all the hips. And if you run your hands along that one's back.
Yeah.
Wait, hey. You can feel the backbone, can't you? So there's not a lot of cover.
I can see the goats aren't fit for purpose, but for some reason, Jenny's in two minds.
What's your head telling you, and what's your heart telling you?
Well, I feel a bit bad for her if we don't take one.
I mean, it's whatever you want to do. It's your money, it's your goats.
Okay. I feel bad to disappoint this lady.
I know what I would do.
Jenny's got a big heart, but this needs to be a business decision. After much persuasion, I convince her to pass on this goat.
There's a divide here. There's a lifestyle, and there's actually living here and making it work. And at the moment, they're so far apart. Growing a few bits and bobs and all the rest of it, it's not going to feed a family.
I'm spending time in Uganda with Brits Charlie and Jenny, who've brought me goat shopping. We've rejected one animal, but now we've come to the centre of the village to check out some alternatives.
Well, there's a nice one there straight away.
Having got to know Jenny and Charlie during my time here, I really want them to make the right choice.
She's in tip-top condition. See her top line? You can't see any bones, can you?
Yeah. This is her first time being pregnant?
Second.
She's pregnant. She might have been pregnant before, so she knows what she's doing, and she's a good animal. So you never made sure there are any broken teeth?
Uh-huh. Are they supposed to have teeth on the top?
No.
Okay.
What's the price?
500,000.
He's joking.
500,000. Which one?
Does she lay golden eggs? Does she? It's gold.
He has cheaper ones.
Oh, cool. Let's see it. Let's have a look.
500,000 Ugandan shillings is equivalent to £120, which is 3 months' salary for the average Ugandan. I think she could get a better deal.
If he wants to sell, you want to buy, but you're not after that goat particularly. You've already found two good ones. We know the price. So if he wants that goat to go with you today, it's going to be your price. Otherwise, forget it. You've already got to. Jenny's front, that very confident girl, sort of bit. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Can you give us this one for two?
I sort of started bartering and bits and bobs as she got into it, you know.
He's refused. Okay, well then we can take these other two for 300. All right. Okay, we shake. So shall we put them in the car?
Yeah.
Jimmy?
It's the weirdest goat buying experience I've ever had. The jumping into the deep end, it's terrifying. But there's nothing that sharpens you up quicker. And I think they are very clever, these two.
Come on.
And I think they're going to have to go through a few hard knocks. But I think probably with their tenacity, they'll get there.
I'm coming to the end of my stay with Jenny and Charlie.
What do you think, Rudy?
Despite all the challenges, a part of me secretly envies them and the life that they're building here.
I think about my life and my family and what I've got. And I like to think I've got my little slice of paradise and with the farm and everything like that. But I'd like to do something like this. Jenny and Charlie have made this blind leap. It's a leap of faith. The willingness for failure. But look, here they are. They've got this.
Before I leave, Jenny and Charlie have invited me to join them and baby Rory on one last outing.
Jimmy, you're counting the steps.
How many steps are there?
At 3,600 feet, Kagulu Rock offers an incredible view of the place they now call home.
Well, I like to think of myself fairly fit, you know, fairly active. I'm quite puffed out. These guys, they like a challenge. They're bombing off and they're carrying a baby. I catch them up.
The views from the top are truly spectacular.
that. You can see the storms rolling in, can't you? It is incredible, isn't it?
It's looking a bit wild, yeah.
But here, nothing can be taken for granted.
Listen to that. I mean, we are in the heart of Mother Nature.
It's gonna rain!
This is his first trip up here, isn't it?
It is.
Here it comes.
Here comes the rain!
As the storm hits, I'm reminded of the life-changing decision this couple have made. I'm not sure it's for me, but what they've done is extraordinary.
It's a nice little family day out, this. It reminds me of going to Clacton in November.
What do you think of this rainstorm? Oh, it's a good adventure to me.
It is a bit awe-inspiring, isn't it? That you feel. It's one of those moments that you feel quite small. You know, nature is massive all around you, and it puts you in your place, I think. Yeah, look at that. That sun is just breaking through.
The storm clears, and before I leave, I want to give Jenny and Charlie a reminder of home.
I think one of the things you missed about the UK, some nice cheddar.
Oh my goodness, wow.
A little taste of home. So moments like this, it's nature, raw, isn't it? Do you have to sort of pinch yourself and think, actually, this is what it's about, this is why we're here?
I know, there's something about Uganda and the way things happen completely unplanned and unexpected. Whenever we go out on an adventure, something interesting and different and unplanned happens. So it keeps things exciting and, yeah, it keeps you alive.
But here you are with a tiny little baby.
Yep.
Some of the times, I thought, what are you doing?
I mean, we obviously evaluate the risk and everything else, and but hopefully for him it means he has an upbringing that is exciting and he'll learn a lot and have a lot of great experiences.
I really admire you, and I think you've got the tenacity to really make it happen. I think you've got some hurdles to cross, some big ones, but I think you'll get there. And so, you know, good on you. Cheers. The world is full of people. You go to any pub, it's full of people who go, oh, you know, I could probably do that. I could have done this. Do you know what? I wish I did that. It's all I could have done. What is worse in life? Sitting there and saying, oh, I could, I should. Or actually willing to do something, knowing that you could fail, but actually doing it. It's just breathtaking.
I'm Jimmy Doherty. 15 years ago, I left the rat race behind to build a new life in the English countryside.
It was all about getting back to a simpler way of life.
Now I'm travelling to the farthest corners of the planet.
Look at that!
To meet British families who are taking things to another level.
Oh my God!
By forging new lives in some of the most awe-inspiring places on Earth.
It's so beautiful here, you just can't compare it to anywhere else.
You feel invigorated and good and alive. Come on, Jimmy!
This is the stuff of childhood dreams. It's like being in one of those Tarzan films.
Many of us fantasize about escaping to our very own private paradise.
When we found this place, we just said we've got to make it work.
But does the dream live up to the reality?
To make a life here, you've got to be self-reliant, you've got to be so determined, willing to sacrifice everything. But if you can do that, paradise could be yours.
Living in a log cabin surrounded by nature is something many of us dream about. The challenge is finding somewhere remote enough to make that dream come true.
All I can see is just endless trees. Every now and then there's a river or there's a lake, and then more trees and more trees. There is no sign whatsoever of any pylons, any roads, any towns.
I'm on my way to Canada's border with Alaska, and one of the world's last great wildernesses. The Yukon is twice the size of the UK, but has a population of just 34,000 people.
When you see nature in its raw form, there's something truly beautiful about it, but equally, there's something a bit terrifying as well.
I'm going to track down a British couple who have traded in their hectic lives in London to carve out a new life of simplicity, solitude, and adventure. After 3 plane journeys covering over 5,000 miles, I'm already a long way from home.
Ooh, there's a drop in temperature.
The next leg of my journey is by road, and I can already see why someone might be drawn to this remote part of the world.
It's a bit like Scotland on steroids. There's something quite hypnotic, there's something that would bring you here because there is that beauty, a true wilderness. And, you know, that you are in the heart of Mother Nature.
The intrepid couple I'm visiting have moved to a location inaccessible by road. To reach them, I'll have to hire a boat and navigate 25 miles downriver to their new home. Before I take to the river, I need to stop off at the frontier town of Dawson to pick up some supplies.
It's got everything you need to survive. Snowshoes. Right, minus 12. I do meet. Wow, look at that fella. So you do get big old grizzlies here, then?
They're all over. There was 3 grizzlies spotted down near Clinton Creek. Someone came in and let me know.
So they're basically all over here?
Yes, I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
On the other side of town, local boatman Ron has agreed to take me deeper into the wilderness via the mighty Yukon River. In a few weeks' time, winter will arrive, making this my last chance to reach the couple before the river completely freezes over.
This is like the road in and out of this place, then, because this is the only way you can get in and out?
Yeah.
What dangers are there out here?
The main thing would be bears in the summertime.
Bears?
Yeah.
Have you had an encounter with bears?
I was sleeping one night and a grizzly bear came into my camp and started coming into my tent. So I had to shoot it.
You shot it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have just killed you?
Yeah, I had no choice. It was just luck.
Good God.
After several hours traveling downriver, I'm aware I can no longer see any sign of human activity.
Look at this. I'm loving it. This is a real treat. I just think this is a beautiful place and the landscape is wonderful. But at the moment, I feel quite safe because I'm with Ron in his boat and he knows the score. In a minute, I've got to get off and he's going to scoot away. He doesn't even live this far up here and he's born and bred. Bye, Ron! Got to say, he shot off pretty quick. There's no hanging about. And this is me. There's areas, I was just looking over there, I was thinking, do you know what? I bet a human being has never been on that hillside. There's areas that are totally untouched. Nothing.
The Yukon wilderness has a magical stillness to it.
Oh. Things I don't know which direction they're firing in. Or what they're firing at. They're obviously... Nora. They're my hosts. Hi, guys. I'm Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Good to see you.
I'm Neil. Pleased to meet you.
Whoa.
Welcome.
I've got to say, that's quite a reception. Hi, I'm Jim. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What
Hey, sorry about that. You should have had ear defenders.
What are you doing?
Well, we're sighting the rifle.
So you're zeroing in your rifle?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
just checking that the scope's still accurate.
I don't know if you were aiming at me, or you didn't want me to turn up, or what, or you were shooting at a bear, or God knows.
We weren't sure exactly when you were coming.
So you're properly armed to the teeth.
Oh yeah. So we've got a hunting rifle which is mainly for hunting, like hunting moose particularly, and then we've got the pump-action shotgun, which we can use for shooting grouse and stuff as well, but we also use it for bear defence.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
How isolated are you really here?
Yeah, we're isolated. I mean, you're our first guest, put it that way. Yeah. The first person that's overnighted here.
Ever?
Yeah, since we've been here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've often thought about escaping to a secluded log cabin, but these guys have actually done it.
What brought me to this area first, I love these stunning, gobsmacking beauty.
It's really still wild. So the landscape is huge and dramatic. We can open our cabin door and see mountains and the river, and whether it's sunny and beautiful or golden in the autumn, it's just stunning.
Last year, Louise and Neil decided to buy an 8-acre plot of land in the middle of nowhere. For just over £45,000, the land comes with a ready-made guest cabin, a small wooden outhouse, and their main cabin.
This is a bit like everyone's fantasy, isn't it? This is incredible, isn't it? Do I feel like I'm in some nursery rhyme where the three bears are going to come in?
Yeah.
Louise and Neil's home consists of an open living area and a raised bedroom. They have no running water or electricity, so rely on paraffin lanterns for lighting. Their only heating comes from a homemade wood stove. The couple have already spent one winter out here. Their second is fast approaching.
For me, the really, really beautiful time is the winter when you've got the snow on the ground and everything's quiet, and yeah, it becomes very otherworldly.
In just a few weeks' time, their already isolated world would become entombed by ice and snow.
The thing about living in London, for example, there's a police force, you're never more than 5 miles away from an accident emergency unit, whereas out here, there's nobody. You're on your own, you've got to cope, nobody's going to come and rescue you.
The couple have been carefully preparing for winter to avoid running low on food.
The whole room is a food store?
That's right.
Yeah, and we've got this is where we stop stuff freezing. This is called a cold cellar. Because it's underground, it doesn't freeze down there.
God, it's just a little cool room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time is about preparing. So if you see on the table there, I'm doing pickles at the minute, so anything that's starting to go off now, we're pickling.
Right.
So we've got it through the winter.
What if you get it wrong?
We don't. Last winter, we brought in 100 pounds of rice, 50 pounds of beans, and I think 100 pounds of oats, and we were like, if it all goes totally tits up, we won't die.
I've travelled to the Yukon, one of the most remote regions of Canada, to find out what made a British couple move to the wilderness. Louise and Neil have given up a comfortable life back in Britain. 45-year-old Louise worked in theatre, while 47-year-old Neil had an office job.
I worked in marketing communications. I struggled even to put a shelf up at home. I had no outdoor skills. You know, I was a typical office commuter, I would say.
I mean, Neil didn't even know, like, basic sewing, and we tear things all the time. So we had great fun teaching Neil how to sew.
I wouldn't describe it as great fun, but I can sew now.
So tell me, whose idea was it then to come out here to the Yukon?
It was kind of my fault. It was the Yukon, I think. Neil never wanted to come to this type of environment, and I always had done as a little girl. I'd wanted to live in a place like this.
Why as a little girl? What happened then? What did you read? What did you...
To be honest, I think it was a film called The Wilderness Family, a Disney film that was set in Alaska, and apparently wasn't even filmed in Alaska. It was one of those things as a kid, it just captured my imagination about this family living out in a log cabin.
What did you think? You must think she was off her head.
I did. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And actually, I said no. And then she said, well, you're a moron.
That's my wife's favourite phrase. Yeah. So couldn't you do what you're doing here? Could you do this in Scotland?
No, the regulations are too tight. There's no wolves, there's no bears. It doesn't get as cold. Nature dominates here, and we can kind of do what, you know, there are rules, but there's no one to check on them. We can kind of do what we want here.
Right, show me some of my cap.
Yeah.
I want to know what the couple's newfound freedom allows them to do. But it's been a long day, and it's time to find out where I'll be sleeping.
So, here we are. Is this my cabin?
This is...
Wow, look at that roof.
Yeah. Yes, it needs a little bit of work.
Do you know what? I love it, though. Wow. Do you know what? I feel like I'm in some sort of cowboy film.
So we brought you over a few things. You've got a wash bowl there, and I'll bring you some water. There's some soap.
I'll put my water on here.
Yep, that bowl will sit on there. That's fine. You'll see there's a good fire going in there now.
Yep.
And there's a big tree behind you. Just break off the kindling from that.
OK.
Put that in between the logs. That'll get it going, and then you put logs on top.
I mean, it's like something out of a Christmas card.
Yeah. I'll let you unpack.
All right.
And just come over to the house when you're ready,
I'll see you shortly.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Just this initial impression. And you've got Neil, he's really lovely, really mild-mannered. She's very driven. I think she feels she could take on the wilderness on her own as well, you know? It's like, she's very capable, very determined.
Jimmy!
Hello, yep.
We're on a game trail here. There's a lot of bears around, and you're kind of on the edge of the property a little bit. I bought you some bear spray. I don't know if you brought a can with you or...
No.
If the bear does approach you, you would spray that into its face. But the main thing to remember is don't run. Whatever happens, don't run, because you'll trigger a chase response.
The worst thing is, nobody's going to hear you scream.
Come the winter, temperatures here will drop to -30, and simple tasks like collecting water will mean hacking through several feet of snow and ice. Until the big freeze, the couple collect water from a creek while keeping a keen eye out for bears.
You just feel like you're in bear paradise. Loads of berries up there. All I need now is a pot of honey to float past.
Thank you. We've got 2 more. Is
Perfect.
that too much?
Let's do it. So you have to do this how often?
Kind of depends. Like, if we do wash our clothes, or on the rare occasion we wash ourselves, then we'll use it all up and have to go and get more.
So you ration the water, so you limit the washing in terms of clothes and yourself?
Yeah. Yes.
So how often would you wash?
Well, probably...
You're going to tell him we're going to lie.
Well...
We're going to lie.
About once a fortnight.
Yeah.
Once a fortnight?
To have a proper wash.
Right, OK.
Like all over.
Yeah. It's not like we ever encounter any other people. If we do, they live in the bush as well, and they smell the same as us, to be honest. You get used to it, don't you?
Well, just as well, because otherwise I'd be up and down there like a yo-yo. Yeah. If you washed every day, I'd have arms down to my feet.
Yeah.
I'm keen to dig deeper into exactly why Neil and Louise ended up out here. First, I'll have to help prepare dinner. On tonight's menu, powdered potato and corned beef.
What was your life like back in the UK before you decided to move out here?
I always had this sort of notion that I needed to be successful and keep progressing, getting a better job with a bigger salary and more responsibility and all that. So there's always that kind of pressure there. And I think here that those kind of rules don't apply. You don't have to live up to anybody else's expectation, which is often what it is.
It's not terrible. It's not like we had to run away.
No.
But I didn't really see much joy. What I realised, really, when I didn't realise until I came here, is that living in London and trying to deal with the mixed stresses that you have to deal with in daily life, you know, worries about, are you going to get to work? Am I going to get to a job on time? Am I going to be paid on time? I didn't realise it, but it's like a constant low-level anxiety. It wasn't until I came here and spent some time here and it went that I realised that, oh, actually, we don't live with that anymore.
Talking around the dinner table, the idea that there's this unseen anxiety, that this baggage they've got rid of through coming here, which they weren't aware of before. And actually, I don't really think of it myself, that the everyday humdrum slowly builds up and you can't quite put your finger on it. And you suddenly think, God, yeah, that would be great to be able to shrug off those worries. I definitely got the sense that Louise particularly was not fulfilled by her life. But with Neil, I'm not sure. Maybe he's learning to love it. I don't know.
With up to 17,000 bears wandering the Yukon wilderness, Louise and Neil have Homer the dog to help keep watch.
Hello, Homie.
Hey, Homer.
Yeah.
Hey.
What do you use him for, then?
For pulling our dog sled.
So he's a part of the team, then?
Yeah.
He's not a pet?
He is. No.
With winter almost upon them, the couple need enough firewood to keep their stove going 24 hours a day. Since moving to the Yukon, Louise and Neil have had to teach themselves new skills, such as river navigation, hunting and foraging, and even basic motor mechanics.
You know, in London, you pay a mechanic to look at your car, you get someone from Curry's to come look at the washing machine if it's not working, your water comes out of a tap, you go and buy food at Tesco's. Whereas here, you're doing everything for yourself. I'm going to take this one down.
Yep.
Thank you. Actually, I can see it's a bit rotten here, so I'm going to take it quite high, because when they're rotten, you know, they can fall a bit unexpectedly. I mean, even the experts, it goes wrong. This is the most dangerous thing that we use out here.
Yeah.
It's so much more dangerous than a gun. There's so many ways you could fall on it. You get kicked back, you know.
So if you cut yourself quite deeply on the leg, what do you do? What's your procedure of getting medical help?
That would be tough.
And it's getting, there's no phone signal.
So basically, don't injure yourself.
That's the point, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't injure yourself.
Yeah. There it goes. Going. Well done, Louise. And where did you learn these skills to come and fell trees?
We kind of learnt from various people,
Yeah, we
haven't
did.
Everyone does it differently.
We got some advice to begin with.
Yeah.
People told us how to, use the chainsaw, how to make the cuts to fell a tree. And then after that, it was just practice, really. And we started on very small trees and just did lots of very small trees and gradually got up to some larger trees.
So the whole sort of danger bit, chainsaw, middle of nowhere, do you get a buzz out of the danger?
It's a really strange thing to say, but actually, it's when you've just escaped a near-death experience. That's when we feel most alive.
Ooh, proper graft. Is this what you got to do if you join the Royal Marines or something? Oi!
Living in the wilderness is proving to be hard work, but not without its rewards.
There is something satisfying about chopping a pile of logs. It's their warmth in winter. It's their fuel, it's what they cook on. And it's something I've got from them, the idea of doing something that is essential and you forget everything else, all your other worries disappear.
It's my third day living with a British couple in the Yukon, and I'm slowly getting to grips with the harsh realities of living in the wilderness.
I've got river water to wash in, a little tilly lamp, and the only thing that you can really show that is it's a modern situation is my mobile phone that's got no reception at all. But apart from the phone, this could be the gold rush. Ah, that's odd.
So far, I've been fed corned beef and powdered potato, but Louise and Neil are hoping to get something more substantial on the menu.
That doesn't sound right, is it? I'm gonna have to go. What on earth's going on? Gotta say, you're the weirdest couple.
Not for these parts.
This is, well, we call it a moose bugle. So what we've been doing is we make the call of the female moose. That's that long.
So it's a love call?
It is a love call.
He's calling for the fellas to come in, and then when they come in...
Bang.
Then you zap them.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is basically calling in your dinner.
And it means we don't go another winter on corned beef and dried beans,
right.
Which is like, I mean, really does start to drive you mental after a while.
Armed with a high-powered rifle and the homemade moose bugle, we set off to see if any moose have been attracted by the calls. It's not long before Louise picks up on some tracks, but they're not the ones I was expecting.
These, actually, these are bear prints here. Do you see these?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, this is bear prints. There's a bear been along here.
Right, OK.
So you can tell it's bear because they almost look like human feet, strangely enough. It looks like someone's been walking.
What's the procedure if we follow these up and there's a bear?
Well, I think we're downwind, which isn't good. So you just talk gently to it. We group together so we look like one big thing rather than three small things.
Yeah.
You just talk gently and just wave your arms, make yourself look big, and just back away. So this is some, quite well defined. So that's maybe a female or a small male because they're quite small for a moose.
Moose heading up here. You can see there, look.
Oh, yeah.
Despite my attempts to sound like an amorous female, there's no sign of a randy bull.
I'm hoping if we try a bit later on, because we've called quite a bit, and that can make them a bit suspicious.
So leave it, calm down a bit.
Yeah, and maybe
so
just try a bit.
No meat just yet, then?
No, but we'll try again later.
Right.
Yeah.
Look forward to those steaks.
If not, there's corned beef. You'll be fine.
It must be hard for them, you know, because if you wanted to go and get a nice steak in the UK, you'd pop down your local butcher's, bingo bongo, done. Here, if they want a moose steak, it could take them weeks and weeks.
Securing a winter supply of moose meat will have to wait. In the meantime, we continue with the other vital tasks that need completing if the couple are to survive the winter.
It's non-stop here.
Louise is determined to shoot a moose before the snows come. So at the crack of dawn, we set off to find fresh hunting ground downriver.
Morning.
Did you sleep all right?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
The couple's boat will be useless when the river freezes over in a few weeks.
Everyone on?
But for now, it gives me the chance to take in the surroundings.
It's incredible. It's a really good way to find out a bit about the geography of the area, because you can't see beyond the mountains, and all of a sudden, as soon as you take to the river, the whole place just opens up.
So hopefully, watch out for the rocks on the right here, Louise. As we're heading down the river, we're just keeping our eyes peeled to see if we might see a moose.
Out there, potentially, it's dinner. Just got to find it.
While I'm scanning the shoreline, Louise and Neil are more preoccupied with unseen dangers.
If you just headed straight down the river, which you think would be the fastest way to go, then you could easily hit your propeller on sandbags, rocks, and you could actually ground the boat. Because at this time of the year, the river is dropping very rapidly, so every day it drops a few inches. This is a propeller that we hit a few days ago.
That's sand that's done that?
Probably rocks. And yeah, I'm sorry I'm not giving you my full attention, but I have to just keep glancing
well, look
at
at
the
that.
river.
You carry on.
Yeah.
Finding a moose soon becomes the least of our worries.
I need to know when to cross, so will you? And remember, we're going downstream, so I need to cross a bit earlier.
So it's not yet, but when we get to almost the end of the bluff.
I need you to face me.
Rise, 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 rise!
A river trip here.
Start heading over.
Basically, it's like a minefield. There's all these little shallow pockets.
After spending a tense hour maneuvering downstream, the moose still remain elusive.
There might be a bit of a jolt as we come in.
We head to a safe landing point to regroup and decide on a new plan. Unfortunately, it seems we're not the only hunters in the area, and these guys have had more luck.
Was that quite a big one? Small?
Yeah, for the moose up here, not really big.
Wow.
This father and son team have traveled over 300 miles in search of their winter supply of meat.
That's what Neil and Louise are after. That's what they need to be bringing down to get them through the winter.
You got it?
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel like some weird pagan ritual. God. How long will that last you?
Our family of 4 would last us a year.
They got a moose. No.
Any other moose in the area are likely to have been scared off. But Louise and Neil have another plan. In the truck they keep for their summer supply runs, we go in search for some grouse for dinner.
The reason we're looking for them when we drive, rather than like in the woods around our place, is, well, they're easier to spot on the road, but they eat the gravel. It helps them digest the spruce tips and things that they eat.
Here we go. Hold load.
Right, stop.
That's it. You got one in the hedge as well. One there. Yeah, he's gone. I think there's one there, look, Lou. Think you got him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go and pick him up?
Sure we have, yeah. Fantastic.
Great. Ah.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay, give me that. Do you want to give me the gun?
Yeah. That's a really nice bird.
It's a beaut.
Yeah.
In terms of stuff that I've done before, when you go to sort of driven shoots and things like that, this is a bit sort of smash and grab. You know, you see him pull over, chase him into the brush. It's a quick bang, 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 and there we go. And so I'm pleased for him. It's great. It means they're going to eat well tonight. And of course, so am I, which is even better.
Despite the hard work and the harsh environment, I'm starting to really enjoy my stay in the Yukon. And it's a great relief that corned beef is no longer on the menu. I also feel increasingly impressed with Louise. It seems like the wilderness is the place she is truly meant to be.
I don't know how grouse are in Britain, but there's not much meat on the legs here. But what I usually do is just peel it back and snap them out. They come out quite easily.
Have you had to learn, like, to not be squeamish, or have you always been like that?
I'm still really squeamish. I'm all right with animals. But if Neil injures himself, I'll just have to shoot him or leave him to it, because I can't deal with human blood.
Neil, never get injured. I don't meet many women like you. You just get stuck in and you love living in the wilderness. But at the same time, I did notice your fingernails.
Yes, I keep up with the fingernail painting. I sort of don't see any reason to stop doing everything I did in London just because I'm here, you know. It's just a bit of fun. I like it.
Though Louise had a comfortable life back in London, I sense that moving to the wilderness has given her newfound confidence.
Success is a very narrow definition in Britain. And I think as you get into your 40s, probably a lot of people do it's that middle-aged thing. You go, oh, well, I'm quite successful, but I don't feel great.
Yeah.
Because there's too much neurosis and driving forward. And I thought, I'm actually always going to feel that I need to be somewhere else.
The society you've left, there is a lot of judgment on success or not.
Yes, there is.
For me, quite significant is you're not judged for being a woman here. You are very much judged on what you do, how you are, and what you achieve. And I find there's a lot of other things going on in Britain about gender and class, which, to be honest, just get a bit sick of it.
Freedom from the hassles of modern society is the main reason that Louise and Neil moved to the wilds of the Yukon, far from human habitation. But there is some human contact Louise can't do without.
Right, I'll get the cables sorted.
About once a week, she tries to touch base with her mum in England. Powered by a small generator, a mini satellite dish enables her to make Skype calls back home.
Hello, it's me.
Lovely to hear your voice, dear.
Yeah, you too, Mum.
Hi, Barbara. I'm Jimmy.
Oh, pardon? Oh, you're Jimmy?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, oh, I'm fine. And you?
I'm very good. Are you missing Louise and Neil?
Yes, very much, I must say. I never really get used to it, you know.
Do you think you'll come out here?
I don't know if I would survive, Jimmy. I really don't with all the cold.
Well, we might get you out here one day, Mum. No, we're here in the summers as well, but it's the boat journey I think you'd find hard.
Oh, God, yes. I don't think I would survive that.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, Barbara.
Jimmy's just saying goodbye. He's heading outside. He's saying goodbye.
Oh, is he?
That was really sweet. Hearing that makes you think of your own family. I think of my wife and my kids, and you miss them. But this must be so difficult.
Oh, brilliant.
The fish and chips, I think, tomorrow. So
She's in her 80s, so for her to travel here, 3 flights, journey down a river, come and live in a little log cabin, practically that's not really going to happen. So she'll never get to see where her daughter's moved to. So you really do, in a way, you've got to say goodbye to your old life and your loved ones, and you've got to weigh that up, you know? That's a sacrifice.
Louise and Neil are running out of time to prepare for the winter months. There are still many jobs that need completing before temperatures drop to -30 and it gets too cold to work outside.
If we have to leave the cabin for a period of time, we can stick our valuable stuff up here, like, you know, gas cans, jerry cans, which bears love to munch on. We can stick them up there and they'll be safe and they won't be able to climb up here and get to them.
So if I'm a bear, I could scoot up that one, but when I come to here,
that's
won't
right.
Climb up.
No, you won't be able to get your claws in.
What about if I go up the ladder?
That's true, but we might take the ladder away. But it's good. It's a good thought.
After I leave in a few days' time, Louise and Neil will be completely alone for several months.
Have you felt like you're going mad?
You know, people talk about cabin fever, and I don't think we've suffered from that, but we're on a very small piece of land here, really, in one cabin and just the two of us. And then when we can travel, and you realise how important it is just to chat to people.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you're talking about, to a degree.
Yeah.
You know, we're catching up on news and sort of mutual friends and that kind of thing. It might even be just talking about the condition of the river and travelling and that sort of stuff. But those connections are really, really valuable.
Just nice to chat.
Yeah.
Chat to someone different.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
With the prospect of months of isolation ahead, I can't help but wonder what kind of pressure that puts on their relationship.
Louise has definitely got a love for this lifestyle, definitely. When it comes to Neil, I'm not sure. And I'd love to find out if that really is the case. And if that is the case, do they really have a future here?
I've been living with a British couple in the Yukon wilderness for nearly a week. Shortly before I arrived, their cabin was attacked by a bear.
So this is what the bear did to our snow machine seat.
Good Lord. I mean, look at that. You can actually see the shear marks here, and it's just gone through that like it's butter.
You realise how strong they are, just to go and have a munch on the back of our machine here. It's the fact that the petrol smells. Right. And they will drink transmission fluid. They will literally, if they find a can, they'll just drink it. No, bears are weird. That's what someone told me. It's just said, bears are weird.
And how vital is this machine to you, then?
This is the most vital piece of equipment we have.
Louise and Neil need to get their snow machine fit for purpose for the winter. They're hoping their closest neighbour, 30 miles away, may be able to help them.
So is he like your go-to man for a problem?
Yeah. Yeah, for definite.
Earl's been very generous with his advice.
Yeah. You know, Earl's a trained mechanic. He's an amazing hunter. He's a fantastic trapper. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jim. Nice to meet you.
Oh, pleasure meeting you.
How are you? Good. This looks amazing.
Yeah, it's home.
Earl was born and raised in the region, and his home is testament to a lifetime in the wilderness.
Looks like you've got pretty much everything here.
I even got a kitchen sink.
Have you?
Yeah. Does this work?
Oh, that looks fantastic.
That looks like ours.
There's a little hole there. That's the fart hole.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone needs a fart hole.
Fart hole, yeah.
Louise and Neil have their new snow machine seat, and I have the chance to explore Earl's workshop.
Look at this place. It's got a pile of guns in the corner. Is that a Winchester?
Yep.
See, that's the gun that won the West, isn't it?
Yep. Here's a big bear skull. This thing was, what, 9 foot?
9 foot?
Yeah,
oh,
it was
my
9 foot.
word. It's like a T-Rex.
There was a crew in the wintertime doing seismograph.
Yeah.
And they got right over top where the big bear was at. And one guy, his whole head was inside his mouth, and he picked him up and shook him like a rag doll. And then he dropped him, and he stomped on him, and he hit him so hard that the blood shot out the end of his fingers.
Good God.
With winter almost upon them, Louise and Neil need to make the most of what little time they have left. On the way back to the cabin, we stop off to forage for blueberries.
You can easily miss out on vitamins here.
So this little bowl here, this is an important source of vitamin C
Yes.
for you.
Oh, yeah, for definitely, yeah.
So. We'll take them back and we'll make some jam with them. So we've got some fruit that we can have even in the depths of the winter.
As well as preparing for the winter, the couple are looking ahead to the spring, when they hope to grow their own vegetables for the first time.
How shall I help? What have you got? Have you got a fork or anything?
That'd be great, Jimmy, thanks.
It was Louise's Disney-inspired dream to move to the wild, and Neil took a lot of persuading to join her. I'm curious to find out just how attached he's become to her childhood fantasy.
Louise is quite an extraordinary woman, isn't she?
She is, yes, absolutely.
She's very capable.
She is. She's incredibly capable. She's very brave. She'll have a go at anything.
Are you as brave?
No. No, I'm not. And I certainly wasn't when we were back in the UK, and to be honest, I was a bit of a scaredy cat.
Really?
Yeah, but I think what I found here is I've actually surprised myself by what I can do.
When did you know she was the one?
It was a fairly slow burn to begin with.
Were you chasing her or was she chasing you?
Oh, she was chasing me.
Was she?
Yeah.
Well, that's that hunter instinct then, isn't it?
It is. So some of my favourite things are beer and Marmite on toast.
Right.
And whenever I would go around to stay at Louise's before we were living together, she'd always have like my favourite beer in the fridge. And then, you know, for breakfast in the morning, Marmite on toast.
Did you ever feel like a moose in the woods?
Yeah, being called in.
No.
Marmite. Yeah.
What does she mean to you?
Well, it sounds a bit trite to say, but she means everything to me. But she does. You know, and particularly here, there is just the two of us, so we are each other's world, in a way.
Neil may have needed persuading to help Louise fulfill her dream, but I suspect that he is what makes that dream complete.
Has this whole experience, has it changed your relationship together?
Yeah.
Certainly for the better. I think we, you know, we do still argue.
Yeah.
But I think our arguments are much shorter. And we resolve problems much more quickly, because you have to, because there's nowhere to go.
Can't storm off.
There's only one snow machine.
Yeah.
And I think also because we're doing things very much as a team as well, and we try to do as many things together as possible. It's a very positive, kind of constructive way to live your life, I think.
Do you see yourself ever jacking this in and going home?
We could never go back.
Why is that?
Because we've changed too much. We've just changed too much now.
I'm intrigued to discover that Louise and Neil feel their new life in the wilderness could become a permanent one.
I think I've got a better understanding of why they're here. Living for the moment, for these guys, is their way of life now. And we live in a world that is full of social media, and that's nonsense. These guys are living as it happens, and I think that's a rare thing. It gives you much more thought in terms of appreciation of the small things. And then you suddenly realise, what on earth have I filled my life up with? I think, oh, you know, I worry about all these little things. And it's really not important.
It's my last chance to use the river as an exit before it freezes over.
Hey.
You all packed up?
Just closing the door.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been lovely to meet you, Jimmy.
And thanks for mucking in with everything and just giving us a hand with stuff, and very much appreciated.
Yeah. I think with Louise, she's always felt that how success is measured in our society hasn't been right for her. But out here, survival is success. And she's really succeeded. And there's no one to judge her. And for Neil, described himself as a scaredy cat. But out here, he's become brave. He's become the man that he never thought he could be.
Bye.
Sure, Jimmy.
See you again, I hope.
Safe
See you,
travels.
bye. Have a good winter.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll try.
Good luck with the moose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.